Welcome back to NBA Cinema. So, man, we got KG going in on Jimmy Butler for his unprofessionalism. And, we saw Melo and others come out. And actually, we have Rachel Nichols, too. She went in on Jimmy Butler. And that's funny considering the rumors people had about the bubble. And she got that interview with Jimmy after his last big blow up. You remember when he got into it with Wiggins and Cat and them over there in Minnesota? Who got that interview? Rachel Nichols. And now she's talking about it and saying that, everybody in the locker room is upset with Jimmy. The organization has had it. KG's vantage point is like, look, and then, it's so crazy. I remember KG getting one of the first, if not the first, what we consider big deal for playing basketball. Not just endorsements, but like big NBA contract. He got a massive deal with the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I remember MJ and those guys, back in the day, they was playing before Jordan last Bulls deal. It wasn't too significant, right? For what they were making annually, not for what he was bringing to the game. And so you look at Jimmy Butler and his situation. He got a chance to opt in for $52.4 million, and he acting weird about not showing up to work, man. And so he leaves the guys at tarmac for an hour. They about to go on the road, and he pulls that stunt and say he'll meet them there. So, we about to get into what these people said because I got a lot to say about this. Let's peep.
You open up for all this right here, bro. This is how non-guarantees are going to come into our league right here for shit like this. We fucking fought our ass off through 5 and 6 goddamn. You open up for all this right here, bro. This is how non-guarantees are going to come into our league right here for shit like this. We fucking fought our ass off through 5 and 6 goddamn lockouts to get to a point where there's where we protect the integrity of the talent. And then that talent has a responsibility to be professional, come in here and do your fucking job. You think I like Glenn Taylor? You think I like that motherfucker?
No.
Nah, you think Paul liked Witt at one point when they weren't seeing eye to eye? We came in, we did our fucking jobs, you got paid, and you went home. You go home, soon as you get opportunity to change that, you change it. But bro, I ain't finna come in here, make a mockery, one, be a distraction to the other guys in here.
Right.
Because bro, that's what you're doing. You know what? John Wall did the perfect thing. When Houston and John Wall didn't see eye to eye, they both sat down and said, look, this is what we finna do. You go home, young fella. Go do what you gotta do, work on your business, do what you do. Don't be a distraction. John Wall was out for 2 years. He was with Houston Rockets for 2 years. You never saw him around, you never saw him on the bench. He wasn't a distraction, never heard none of that, right?
Right.
Man, he dissolved, bro. He got paid those 2 years some real money. You didn't hear none of that. He wasn't in no narrative.
Right.
Bro, this could have went a whole nother way.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? And Pat, both sides could have actually squashed all of this. But this is a message. This is a message not only to the league, but this is a message between upstairs and the power up players.
Right.
James
Harden was
feeling like he wasn't going to get paid enough.
It's still about money. I think if they offered him $113 million right now.
But here's the thing. Jimmy has made more than $400 million in his career just on the court. So I added up all his salary just on the court. And then, of course, endorsements, maybe even, I don't know if they doubled, but, the coffee, clearly. But, the shoe con, all the stuff, right? Yeah. He's been a very endorsable guy.
He's easily at $500 million.
Right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's worth blowing up your relationship with your team and also your reputation in the NBA if you've already got that kind of money in the bank. But a guy who would do that, I would be reluctant to trade for, given all of those other factors. And I'm not surprised that a lot of other people are too. And by the way, there was an athletic report that in San Francisco, that's still where they play, the Golden State Warriors, who are sort of, in a lot of people's mind, a fit destination in terms of how he would work on the court, they don't seem interested. And that, a lot of it comes from, Yahoo Sports reported that was partly from Steph and Steve Kerr not thinking that he would be a good fit in the locker room. The culture of the Warriors has been such a key. Jimmy, if he wanted to be traded from Miami, had all of the incentive in the world to be fabulous the last couple months, right? To be a team guy, to have the right attitude, to play through injuries, to show up, increase his trade value, increase the number of teams who wanted him, and get out of town. If that is what he wanted because he wasn't going to get this extension, he had every single personal selfish incentive to do that. Instead, not only has it been such a problem for management, I talked to guys in that locker room, and they, to say they have had it is an understatement because he has disrespected them so much. The way he's been in and out of, oh, last minute I'm not playing, the way he's been acting toward people in their locker room, and I mean staff or other people like that. And then the stunt with making them wait hours on the tarmac to even show up. Do you think that, again, I haven't spoken to Bam Adebayo about this, so I am speculating. I want to make this clear. But if you are Bam Adebayo, who is of this level of a player that he is, and some guy on your team who isn't even contributing right now makes you wait for hours on the tarmac, how do you feel about that? And by the way, he could cost you $50 million. Forget the extension. He could cost you $50 million next season to play 50, 55 games and maybe not be.
So you hear that, right? Jimmy Butler has ostracized himself from his teammates. The team looking at what it's going to cost for him to play a partial season next year because he still holds all the cards in the offseason. He can still opt in for the 52.4, and there isn't really a market out there for him to get anything more than that. I don't know of any team that's going to pay him that. I guess the Suns, out of desperation, they may do it because they feel like they lack identity, but I think Jimmy is one of those players who's not who he used to be. And even if he can show flashes of that, can he sustain that throughout the course of a playoffs? Is the system in place for him to get to a finals? Yeah, you have KD and you have all these talented players, but is the team going to play well enough together? All the pieces are going to come together and do what you need them to do. You know, is that worth that investment? In my opinion, I'd say no at this point. You know, some people, Jimmy Butler was better than a few years ago, is probably better than him now. And you know, with the headache and the pattern of behavior, this isn't a 26-year-old Jimmy Butler where he has the peak energy levels. He's going to be on the floor. He's going to guard the best player, and he's going to produce, you know, offensively at a very high clip. This is not that. This is Jimmy maybe might give you some flashes. Knee could flare up. Even when he's fully healthy, knee is going to flare up. He's going to need some time off. Am I going to pay that for 3 years going forward? Absolutely not. And to Ticket's point, this is going to bring in the football style contracts. Now, I don't know if Adam Silver has the backbone to implement that because he wants to be cool with the players too much. But, you know, I think depending on how the deals go, and, you know, some of the sponsors was concerned about load management on nationally televised games because that's where their ad is. If the top player isn't going to play, well, you're going to show my ad in a game that everybody going to look, see the starting lineups and say, oh, he ain't playing, let me turn this off. You see what I'm saying? So I think the players should be penalized for that, in my opinion. I mean, you got to generate money, you know, to make money. And I guess they find with what's going on now, I think, you know, with the viewership being down, obviously social media, the illegal streaming services, all of that play into it. But, you know, somebody like Jimmy Butler, he don't even bring that many eyes to the game as a whole. He's not LeBron James doing this. And I like Jimmy as a player over the last few years. I thought he represented everything: hard work, grit, toughness, not wanting to be on the team with all the other top guys. I loved everything about him. I don't like these antics, though, because I do think if Adam Silver ever gets a backbone or, you know, a new commissioner comes in after his next deal, these things can cause these football-style deals. And players just could get out of shape, do all this stuff, and still be guaranteed a portion of money. But that would, you know, if that did come into play, with, like KG said, that would crush a Zion Williamson, Kawhi Leonard, and some of these other guys. But I do think you shouldn't be able to just sit on the bench and collect millions and millions and millions of dollars for not playing. You shouldn't be able to collect all that just for rehab all the time. Now, I ain't saying you can't get hurt for a season or, you know, like that. But how long it's been going with Kawhi, there needs to be kind of a cutoff of how many games you need to be missing in a certain amount of time, the contract, you either need to go into a reconstructed type deal. Your deal goes down to this level if you're hurt for 5 straight seasons in a row or something like that. Or if you like Zion, your deal needs to be truncated down and you don't need to make the funds that was initially discussed. That should be based off of you playing a certain amount of games in a 5-year span or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It should be that. And not just, you go out there and jump ball and then you sit down. It's just not healthy for the game. And so when you have players with these type of antics, it needs to be like a ban from the NBA for a while. You know what I'm like how they did OJ Mayo for the illegal substance. At least he was going out there playing. If guys is gonna do this type of stuff, you can't let them tamper with your league like this. If this was David Stern, he would come from down up top and he would not let the Heat deal with it no more. He would deal with it as a league, in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time. Peace.